Tensions have been rising outside the courthouse. When we were talking to Callie a few minutes ago, you could hear some of the horn honks as they drove by. Christopher Schurr supporters behind Callie kind of hooting and hollering a little bit as those cars were driving by. Well, earlier we did see groups of supporters for both Schurr and Leoya kind of get into some heated discussions. At times we saw it get physical. Grand Rapids police actually arrested a woman yesterday, and someone that was actually at the scene while that was all going on was 13 on Your Side's Erin Sullivan. She's joining us live outside right now. And Erin, we still are seeing supporters on both sides this morning. At this point, have you seen it get physical, or have you seen any altercations go down yet today?
Good morning. No, nothing physical as of 9:33 this morning. And I really want to talk about this topic, Tanner, because we've had a lot of viewers write in who are watching our streaming, who are watching our coverage all day long. And I want to say no. There's no riots here. Tensions have been rising, of course, with the dialogue and talking about both opinions on this case. But I will say this morning, the only thing we're seeing that is concerning are the drivers driving down here on Ottawa Avenue. A lot of them are rolling down their windows and basically instigating fights, recording supporters from both Schurr and Leoya sides and getting into heated discussions there. But we're not seeing anything between two groups. Like I said, Leoya supporters are staying over here towards the intersection of Lyon and Ottawa, and Schurr supporters are all the way down there towards the other entrance of the courthouse. Nothing is mixing today. Like I know yesterday, one woman was arrested. We also had another man taken away in handcuffs. We're not sure exactly why. People were saying, and officers on the scene were saying it was for littering, but there's no proof and no comments from the Grand Rapids Police Department as to why exactly he was taken away in handcuffs. I also wanted to mention, some viewers are writing in and asking, who's talking to you? Who are you speaking with for these interviews? I do want to mention both sides here that are demonstrating, they're very open to talking to media. I will say though, when you ask, would you like to go on camera? Some people do not want to be on camera. So the reason why we only have one Schurr supporter, for example, in a story is because that is the only supporter who wanted to go on camera. While other supporters for Leoya, who have been on camera several times, excuse me, something just flew into my mouth. Live TV, everyone, we're out here in the elements. They do want to go on camera and they do want to talk to us. So that is something I felt that we did need to address. We are talking to everyone here and everyone has been very respectful, minus that one altercation that did happen yesterday. Back to you guys.
No, thank you for that clarification. And I do think it is important, to your point, Erin, that we have been asking both sides to talk to us throughout this entire process.
And, it's understandable. We talked about the emotions involved in this case. We talked about earlier seeing a live look of what was happening outside the courthouse and someone walking past the camera, not wanting her face shown because of just all of the different emotion and passion and anger that goes along with this case. So, not surprising at all to see the different opinions that are coming out. Some people just feeling so strongly about their opinion when it comes to what happened here.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it also just shows how committed people have been to supporting both sides. This happened 3 years ago. We're still seeing supporters on social media, obviously outside the courthouse. People still feeling very strongly about each side of this case. Probably going to continue once we get a verdict, whether that is an innocent, guilty, or a hung jury. We're still going to get people supporting each side. And it just kind of shows how this case really impacted the Grand Rapids community. I think we forget that, this isn't a situation that a person died and everyone just walks away and forgets about it. This really had a huge impact on how a lot of people feel on both sides. And I think what's interesting that she said that's important to point out is that these people are willing to talk, and for the most part, up until yesterday, have been very peaceful. And I think that that's important to let viewers know. I think oftentimes when situations like these happen, we see the comments on social media, people saying, oh, they're going to riot or they're going to destroy our community. And we're not seeing that. Obviously, tensions have risen to the point where people have gotten a little bit physical. But for the most part, people have just been peacefully protesting and demonstrating outside the courthouse because they just know there's just so much on the line.
Yeah, and also oftentimes things get very inflated on social media as well. I mean, we see it every day in comments on stories. So it is a very important clarification that at this point, that's just not what we're seeing.
Well, people are going to show you really kind of the worst parts, for a lack of better words,
Yeah.
Right.
in what they're highlighting on social media, not what we're seeing there, what we just saw in our live shot, where it seems demonstrators, at least this morning, are staying completely separate on different sides of the street and trying to avoid any conflict. You know, you're maybe not going to see those peaceful videos as you're scrolling on social media.
Well, not only that, you know, I think people sometimes, they believe what they want to believe and see and hear what they want to hear, and then they don't change their mind beyond the facts, even though, you know, we do the best job to present the facts as they are. So, you know, we've been talking about these demonstrations, and we spoke with several demonstrators yesterday, some of the people that Aaron Sullivan actually got to speak with, and we want to play some of those sound bites for you. Some, of course, supporting Christopher Schurr, others supporting the family of Patrick Lyoya, and they say while things are tense, they've also been having some productive conversations. Listen.
My emotions have went a lot of places today. I got here at 8 o'clock this morning, and I was greeted with Back the Blue flags, and they screamed for Christopher Schurr and his wife as they entered the courtroom as if he was a hero, as if he saved somebody's life and wasn't on the stand for murder. So that was the first initial feeling, and then throughout the day, the emotions got better and worse. At one point, we had some decent conversations with the opposing side, but conversations pretty much are all they were because we didn't get anywhere. They still are going to back the blue and support murder.
What do those conversations look like? You've been here all day. For those that don't know and haven't been here, what does that look like for you?
One of the conversations that I definitely want to bring to light is the conversation of the young man's mother who came down here and was basically pleading with them to understand, like, this is not right. Murder is murder, no matter how we cut the pie. And her son was killed by police. And so her message was even stronger than why I'm here. She's living that, you know. She made mention of being on a watch for keeping herself safe because she misses her son so much. And those are the kind of things that we don't want to see happening in our city.
I know you were just kind of standing next to the person that you've been going at it with all day today who's opposing views from you. Why was that important for you to kind of at least kind of have a conversation and stand next to her and talk about her obviously views?
Well, me and Kathleen definitely don't see each other's eye to eye. However, I do believe that being out here physically and being seen is one thing, but we had to also do some work while we're out here. So in between calling them names and screaming murder is wrong, we do try to have some kind of decent conversations for as long as our brains can stand talking to somebody who believes that murder is okay.
What's the best possible outcome, do you think, that could come from this with the verdict looming?
The best possible verdict, I think, and the best possible option for the Lyoya family is to throw the entire book at Chris Schurr and show the other officers, not only in Grand Rapids, not only in Wyoming, because they were here as a presence today, Michigan State Police, to let everybody know in law enforcement that you cannot kill unarmed black people in cold blood in the street without recourse.
And why are you here today?
Oh, I've been here since the beginning of the trial, of course, to support Officer Schurr. I run I'm the admin for the Stand with Schurr group with my partner, Chris. And we've been here since the beginning. We think the charges are unjust, and we're waiting for that not guilty verdict.
So are you from the Grand Rapids area?
I'm actually from Connecticut.
You're from Connecticut. So why did you feel so drawn to come here and show your support for Schurr today?
Okay. What happened actually is I was supporting a trooper in Connecticut that was unjustly charged. And in the process, I saw Officer Schurr. Same thing happened, getting charged. And it was unjustly charged. And I said, I got to do something. I have to support. And I met up with Chris. We started this support group. We have a huge following. And I just had to come and be with the support group that I've been working with over the last 3 years.
And you've been here all week,
All
correct?
week, every day.
So kind of walk me
Okay, well, I've been here every day at 6 a.m. in the morning, and if I'm not inside the trial, we're outside here. They have a very large following, and for those that can't make it here, we update them throughout the day. They are committed, they are passionate, they are confident that he's going to be found not guilty. I mean, he was in the fight for his life. He did what he was trained to do. It is tragic that a young man lost his life, but he took that taser. Officer Schurr really thought he wouldn't have went home that day if he didn't do what he did.
I'm curious, we've noticed every morning, not only are you guys out here, but you're also joined by members of the police
Yes.
department. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Oh, I think it's great. It's terrific. They come out every day. There's probably 30, 50 of them. And I love that Officer Schurr, Brandy, the whole extended family, that's what they see when they walk in. Because he deserves the support. This is a terrible thing, a terrible ordeal he went through. And again, if he's found not guilty, that doesn't mean he's a winner. There's no winners here. A young man lost his life. The whole situation is tragic. But he did what he was trained to do. He deserved to go home that day.
So no matter what the verdict is, guilty, not guilty, what do you plan on doing and your group plan on doing once that response comes?
Well, of course, we're going to be happy for Officer Schurr, but we're going to continue to pray for the other family. It's sad. It's tragedy. Like I said, there's no winners. So we're not going to have this big celebration. He's got to learn. He's got to decompress and go pray. He's going to live with this for the rest of his life. It's terrible. For me, I'm going to carry on, and we've got other officers and law enforcement to continue to support.
So there you have it, hearing from both sides here. The lady that we just heard from, kind of going back to somebody that you talked to about, just praying for both sides, which is something that you heard from early on.
Yeah, and that was maybe kind of unusual to have this interaction with this woman who was there. I was live outside of the Kent County Courthouse on day one of the trial. So last Monday, I ran into a woman who was out there about the same time as this woman says she's been showing up each day, around 6 a.m. And I talked to this woman who said that she was there not on either side, but just to pray for the community. She said this is something that is clearly dividing the community. We could see that with some of the tension and the finger pointing that was going on with some of the demonstrators outside yesterday. Glad we haven't seen that yet this morning. But again, that particular woman that I spoke with last week, she said she was just there to pray for the community, regardless of the outcome of this case, because we know once that outcome does arrive, outside of a hung jury or a mistrial, there's definitely going to be even more passion coming from at least one side.
Yeah, especially given the different ways this thing could go. Lauren, I want to get to you because you are actually on Verdict Watch. You will bring that to folks live on 13 on your side as well as 13 Plus. And at the bottom of your screen, you can also watch the rewatch the trial rather, after Morning Plus is over. Again, it's right there on 13 Plus as each day of testimony is pinned below. Thank you, ladies, so much for hanging out with me on Morning Plus to kind of break some of the things down here. And again, we'll continue to follow this as it continues to play out.